Okay guys, I wanted to show you my version of a Dust Deputy Cyclone system. It's a cart that I built. There's a guy on YouTube named John Builds It, and he has a real nice video of how to do all this. And I just made a couple of little changes I wanted to point out. His version, he used the white PVC pipe and painted it black. Oh man, I just hate painting plastic. You know, you just nick it and it shows. And so what I did, I used ABS plastic, and I found all the fittings except for this 2-inch coupler. And you absolutely have to use the 2-inch coupler, because this 1.5 by 2 reducer, it does not go down into this wheel housing deep enough, and it fits very loose. And I asked John about it, why he didn't do that, and he said because it fits loose and you need this, so that's what I did. But anyway, so I built it. Now I did pay more, probably twice as much, for the black fittings. Now you could probably go on Amazon or the internet somewhere, if you want to wait on the stuff, and you could probably get the stuff online cheaper. And but anyway, now another thing I wanted to point out was he was saying that this fits pretty tight to get this top out, which it does fit really tight. And he said, well, you'll just knock the top off, which you can do, but the only wiggle room I get is where this goes into this cap, and it's secured to the plywood with a 1/4-inch screw. I just hate having stuff loose. I mean, it's not an issue. It'll work fine. But I would rather, have it more secure. I would like to glue that into that cap. But what I did, where I put this 1/4-inch screw through, I put a big flange nut on the inside. And I'm going to use either shoe glue or epoxy and secure that nut to the inside of that cap. Then you could just, take it apart at will. And this bottom, if it ever gave me any problem, I could shoe glue that or epoxy it, but I don't think it's going to be an issue because it's tight. And now about the only other thing, I still have to cut my circle in it, and I have to round off the corners. And now the only other thing I want to point out, when you go to figure out where these caps go, what you need to do is take and draw a line diagonal across the corners of that wood, get your center point, and then you measure from that center point out to that bolt hole. And what that is, if you look at this, let's say that caster isn't there, and there's a hole there for it. You measure from that center point out to there, and there you go. And that's where your caps go, up here. And what I ended up doing, the hole I drilled in the cap was a 1/4-inch, but in this plywood, because this was still tight, it's touching, but it was touching on the lid, and I didn't like that, so I actually drilled this hole in the plywood a 5/16, and and that way I pulled this cap out towards that corner, and that spread those pipes out a little bit, and I have clearance now. And if you wanted to, whenever you go from the center point out to that bolt, you could cheat it out 1/8 of an inch, whatever. It's experimental. So anyway, so I just wanted to show you guys that, and I want to give a big thanks to John for coming up with this design. And there's hundreds of guys on YouTube that has copied this and kind of did their own little spin on it. And so anyway, I'm going to pause it there, and I'm going to show you why I really needed this upright version, stackable. So let me pause it there. Okay, here we go. I just wanted to show you, this is the wall of my garage where I have all my big items, and I have no room. I mean, there's no space in between anything. And this is the area next to my sandblast cabinet. That's still a work in progress. But that's where my shop vac and dust deputy is going to go. But now I just wanted to show you the problem I was having. Hope I'm not wiggling too much for you guys. Normally, I have a gold wing I park in here. And the only space I have for it is right here. It sits next to this blast cabinet. Now, I have a shop vac already, but as you can see, it doesn't have any way to stack it, and I have no room to go up. So I put this together, and per the instructions, I put these casters where they said they would go, and that was to attach it. You're supposed to use a foam block and attach it to your shop vac. Well, my shop vac, the way it's built, that just wasn't going to work too good. But I'd already drilled the holes. There's 2 different bolt patterns you can use. And I'd already drilled it to attach it, so now it made it very unstable. And so, man, I had hoses going all over, this sticking out in the walkway. That just wasn't going to fly, so I said, screw that. And so I ditched the bucket with the wheels, and then I just put it in a milk crate, which that's doable. And but the problem still is, you know, I parked my motorcycle here, and it goes right here. So this isn't going to work for me. So, anyway, so I kind of had a nervous breakdown and went in and said, man, I got to find something. So I looked through all the videos, and it was for big carts, side by side, and then I found John's video of stacking it on top. So anyway, I'll show you what I've got so far. Okay, I'll try to do this without too much camera shake. As you can see, you know, my space is at a premium. There's John's design there. And I have yet to cut the hole in the plywood and do the final install. But as you can see, you know, I really like that upright design. So anyway, like I said, I'll post a link to John's video and be sure to watch that. He goes into great detail. Really nice video. So thanks for watching. Give a thumbs up or a like or whatever. Subscribe. Thanks.